Hello and welcome to another edition of Atlanta's Up and Rising, where we take the finest of Atlanta's up and rising on the horizon, honey, and introduce them and showcase them to you. I am your host. I am Demetrius Big Meach Taylor from Dishing Tea with Big Meach. And for more information about me and everything tea, honey, you can go to www.dishingtea.com. But as you already know, this is not about me. My darling, today I am bringing to you something that's going to pique and intrigue you, because I have an author here, honey, who is going to sit down and give us some insight on love and relationships, honey. And he has his new book, honey, Why Dating Doesn't Work. Now, baby, we're going to get off into this the way that we do. Now, I got to put my disclaimer here, because this book here is very raunchy. It is very that way. However, for the sake of television, I have to keep everything at a PG-13, honey, because of FCC regulations, of course. So if you hear me trembling and this, that, and the other, it's because the language here, I need to clean it up so that it would be television appropriate, okay? However, we're going to get into this so that you know where you can find your copy and have your own discussion. So without any further ado, let me introduce to you the author of Why Dating Doesn't Work. This is Mr. Michael Hedges. Hey, now, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
I am everything, and everything is me. And we're going to get into this because, baby, I've been waiting for you to come on and talk about this particular book. The reason, well, many reasons, but one of the main reasons is because as I've gotten into this, now I'm still getting through to the tail end of it, because I'm halfway through it. And it's a short read, but of course my attention span, honey, I got distracted on several occasions. But where I am in this book right now, my darling, I need for you to let me know what is going on. So we're going to start off with introducing the world to who you are and why you came to write this particular book. So let's start there. Who is Michael Hedges, and what makes Michael Hedges tick?
Michael Hedges is a thinker, writer, educator, but a student. As far as life goes, been married, divorced, child, back to dating, and it got to the point really that I just noticed women and men, we all sort of date types. We stay within a certain limit, and then we say, I can't find romance, I can't find love. Well, you're not really looking for it. You're looking for a type. So what you have to do is get outside of that. Once you get outside that type, you start dealing with people as individuals, and then you find kind of a custom fit relationship that works. That's when dating does work. But the reason it doesn't is for people that basically they say, I'm gonna stay with a type. He gotta be this tall, or this color, or she gotta be this shape, or hair gotta be like that. Well, if you keep doing that, you're going to keep having the same situations, because you're not looking for what's inside that person. You're just looking for basically like a car, just a certain model. Not make a model. You ain't worried about house riding. You're not worried about gas mileage. You just basically like, okay, it looks good, and then you find out I got a lemon.
Ooh, so. I got a lemon. Oh, see, okay, now y'all know to work me. Okay, I have went through the book. And I've highlighted a few things that I want to take and share. But before we get into some of the passages here, the title is very interesting, Why Dating Doesn't Work. In your opinion and in your research, outside of types and dealing in your own personal perspective and your personal experiences, Let's define the term dating. What is dating according to Michael Hedges?
Dating is not, again, I have to be PG.
We got to, yes, Lord.
But dating is not a random sexual escapade, sexcapade. That's not, a lot of people think that's dating, that's not. You going in for something physical, that's it, wham bam, thank you ma'am, or sir, how you do. And basically, that's not dating. Dating has some intention that you are building something. You basically have a foundation of, we're friends, we argued a couple times, bump heads, we made love, kind of like the OJ song, we cried, we made love, we got back together, and you keep it moving. And you do that as many times as you can, building up towards courting. Courting's the next level, then next, we talk about engagement and marriage. But you can't really talk about the L word anymore. You say love, people run. But with dating, it's like you're sort of practicing for something better, and people don't understand it. That's the opening the doors for your woman. That's for the woman to just every now and then, don't tell me I'm wrong about what I know. Just kind of listens to that. And it's not, it goes both ways. But you do things like, there's a lot of times people don't want to go out anymore. It's just straight to the house and they drink and they do whatever, and then, you know, at 3 p.m. the door's closing and where she go. So that's not a good fit for the concept of dating. Dating is based more so on, you got a certain pattern of behavior where you are trying to understand and grow with that person. You do have the sex, you do have the romance, but if you don't have that friendship, if you don't have what we call the 3 C's, which are communication, compromise, and collaboration, then you cannot continue to date. You might as well just keep doing what you're doing. But my thing is, don't do the 4th C, which is not in the book, which is complain. I'm tired of people complaining. So
he said complain. Okay. Okay. Now, let me say this here, because as I'm reading this, it tickles me. It tickles me because these particular types that you have outlined in the book, I am going to say, coming from your perspective, is very general and is very broad. And I'm stating that because as a same gender loving man myself, I can apply the information here, you know, in LGBT culture. When you were writing this, did you see any disparages between hetero-attractional and homo-attractional affairs?
The applications pretty much go across the board. But at the same time, kind of a plug, if I find an author who says, I like the idea, and they are, you know, same gender, and they say, hey, I want to do that, I'll write the preface, they go ahead and knock it out, and, you know, we both kind of spread that love or that concept of dating to the LGBT community as well. But essentially, like I say, you know, it's basically a book to get women and men to look at each other and stop just saying surface and go a little deeper.
See there.
You got women sort of being defeminized where they can't feel too much, so they hard. They always say, I'm in pain, I've been hurt so much, so now I'm gonna hurt you.
Right.
Then you got guys, well, there's kind of an emasculation fight. You know, I can't show emotion. Well, you're human. You know, oh, you in your feelings, oh, you being, you know, all these different things. It's better for you to embrace emotion, but you got a couple emotion with more intellect and stop focusing on impulse, because impulse is what trips everybody up. And then they end up saying there's no love out there. You got to define what it is for yourself, find someone that is similar, come together and just try to be happy. Stop complaining so much.
Okay.
You know, as I said before. Okay.
He said, find someone that's similar, honey. Now, see, usually we've been bombarded with opposites attract and this, that, and the other, but I really am one who don't necessarily believe that opposites attract. I think opposites cancel each other out. You know, you have positive and negative energies or whatever, but when they come together, they cancel each other out because they're dynamics. They're the same dynamic on the flip side of the coin. So when they come together, they may cancel each other out. Usually, the law of attraction says that that which we concentrate on and think about most and put our energies in, that's what attracts to us. So a lot of us go out looking for that, as you say, like you say in the book, I'm trying to get to that, certain types or whatever. But then at the same time, we also look at that mirror because we attract what we are.
Well, true, but I mean the thing is, I didn't mean similar as far as similar types again, because that's you're playing into the game. I mean similar as far as like, if I'm okay on the surface, out of the 7 types of men, you might say, okay, Mike's definitely got the nerd look. Okay, he's a workaholic, but then I got quote unquote thug tendencies. There's some things we won't discuss, and. I'm attracted to women who are, as far as the ladies, 3 of the major types, are basically career women, which is similar to the workaholic. I do like smart chicks. I do tend to deal with women who are quote unquote the thug mommies. I like them because to me, you might say it's opposite, but we have similar values. She's trying to come up, I'm trying to come up. You know what I'm saying? We like to progress. Certain kinds of people they like to be served. And you do have people that like to be given things.
Right.
Okay, if you have the princess or the pretty boy, they sit back and just receive. But two of them together may not work out.
That's right.
If you have, quote unquote, the cake mommy and the sugar daddy, they can be good friends, but who's going to get the check? They both used to paying together, so, you know, so it's one of those things where, yeah, you have to have a dynamic where there is some diversity to keep things interesting, because you want to learn from each other, you want to share. But you don't want to be so diverse that you just don't relate, because then, like, again, you're not going to be able to communicate, and you won't be able to, you know, come together.
All right. Okay, let me go here. I'm going here. Men and women have separate like tribes. Men confide all of their conversations and assurances in each other. Women form their sisterhoods of being up under one another and falling back on each other to cry about problems in relationships or dating, when they should focus on the men they're dating versus pity parties. Women need to take their conversations to the man giving them the problems, not women giving them boxes of tissues. Both tribes need to disperse quicker than roaches when the lights come on. Co-mingle and stop the sexual codependency. That there is gospel right there. When I first read, that's on page 6, y'all. This starts off. This is page 6. So, having said that, let's break that down for me just a little bit more, because actually that's kind of basic, but let's go into that as far as relationships, because most men, you know, we're not taught to be in our feelings. Men are not taught that, and that's gay, straight, or whatever. Men are just not taught to be in there. Everything male on this earth, where, you know, you shut up, you hold it in, you don't talk about that because it seems as soft and weak. And then men, when we get together, we'll talk, but we don't come up with solutions. You know, we talk about it. Oh man, this B done did this. Let me, you know, and it's you know, the grunt work, but there's no solutions. So, and the only solution that we come up with is to solve it in the bedroom. Because once, if I can knock it out in the bedroom, and I can bring a smile on your face, then everything is fine. So, what is that dynamic as far as the dating pool is concerned? Because,
well, to be honest, it's one of those things where a lot of women mistake men trying to express themselves, I wouldn't say emotionally, we replace our emotions with intellect. So even with me, I've started to come out actually in the sense of the last couple years to be able to express my emotions to my woman. I was always sort of intellectual, real business-like. Break it down. This is a poor investment. You giving me toxic assets, girl. I gotta let you go. Assets, not the other word. And you know, just have to let it go, or vice versa. You know, hey, you know, this is not a good merger. I'm using business. You know, at this time we going, your stocks drop, your value gotta go. So the thing is that when it comes to dating, men, we like to do kind of like a stomping party. We don't really get anything done. We'll be more emotional because a certain team won the World Series or the Super Bowl or something like that. That's the only time you really see men, you know, oh man, who got crying, going through changes. But when it comes to our women, it'll be okay, or we want to be right. That's how we express ourselves emotionally. We have to be right. And that's sort of going back to a little boy. That's about the last time. When you hit about 7 to 8, you stop being emotional, because it's just, it doesn't seem to be socially acceptable in the sense of, it kind of works, it can work against you.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as dealing with not so much other men, but women. Women don't want that. They don't really want that likeness. They want the opposite. They want to be able to pull the emotions out of you. And the problem is, a lot of times the negative emotions come out, that works against the dating. With women, the biggest thing is, okay, if you've got a problem, in other words, let me put it this way, if I've got a problem, you got a problem. Neither one of us have a solution. If I don't have a solution, then how are we gonna help each other? So a lot of times it's best to deal with the man that's giving you the issue and really get it out of him. If he's unwilling to communicate, then that tells you right there, let him go. You know what I mean? Stop bothering him. If you're a man and you want to get your woman to talk, she wants to withhold conversations and wants to do the ultimate wrong, which is withholding sex. If you don't have sex, that's different. I'm not in the mood, I'm not feeling, I'm mad at you, whatever. But to purposely withhold it, all you're doing is giving him a free go cheat card, or basically break up card.
Right.
So the communication has to be there. So the guys need to get away from let's just stomp our feet and kick up dust and don't get anything done. So get your feet dirty. And then with the women, stop giving all your money to Kleenex. Stop,
Okay.
I guess that was kind of, a plug for them. But, stop getting the tissues and basically go to the person you're having the problem with. If you have a problem with your job, do you go complain to another job?
Ooh. Here's another quote from the book, honey. So considering all of this, let's look at the general set of types across the board that people stupidly keep choosing and then find themselves unhappy with the results. Because you have to remember, when you choose a person based on types, you ignore the fact that he may look like a caddy, but ride like a pinto. Or she may look like a lamb, but roar like a lioness. People know what you are looking for when you only go for types. And you say that there are 7 types of men and 7 types of women. I'm only going to highlight a couple of them on each, okay? Let me go here because you mentioned some, but I want to go to a couple of ones that you didn't mention because I thought this was really that way. The prep metrosexual type is similar to the pretty boy, but is stuck more on clothing and fashion. He is the kind that can not only shop with his female friends or girlfriend, but can shop for them. He will often end up in the friend zone if he's not careful, but usually his appeal is to a woman's sense of her girliness and her femininity. Most women want to feel like a princess at the end of the day, but usually demand a king to treat them like a queen. Okay, then break that down a little bit more about that particular type.
Basically, again, in society, and he's kind of, best example, he's kind of a liaison or an experiment that merges at the base heterosexuality, but on the surface, certain values that you would see in the homosexual community. And this is observation and from heterosexual and bisexual women telling me, they got that one friend. I'm like, well, why don't you just date him?
Right.
Well, he's kind of, I don't know, he's almost like, I don't know, if he's older, he's like an aunt.
Right.
Okay, or he's like and I'm like, what you mean? No, I'm not saying he's gay. And it's like, okay, it's just that I don't get that madness. So you want him to like pick you up and slam you and choke? No.
Right,
it's like they
right.
sort of say that there's too much of a similarity, and that can be a problem. But you also have the group that like those kind of men because. And one person comes to mind, I'm not gonna mention them, but it's a particular couple, and the reason the man and the woman get together is because he is more emotional. He does tap into her sensibilities, which it is. Fashion is big with women, smelling a certain way, looking a certain way. Men, we tend to just splash something on, or hey, I bathe, that's it. Whereas with a lot of times with women, it's gonna be a little bit more, they have more variety, they know more colors than we do. Okay. So when they run across a man like that, that's when they tend to really be more attracted to him or repelled by him. It depends on what their values are.
Okay, let me go here. You mentioned him, but it's something in here that I thought was very fascinating, and that is the thug boy, bad boy. He used to be dad's worst nightmare. Now he's usually just the one-night stand baby daddy. He prides himself on aggressive but flamboyant, or rather braggadocious behavior, which I thought was fantastic when you did that. He is not a crime boss or a career criminal that he wants to be, because real G's or gangsters know silence is golden and stupidity is incriminating. He has other interests he often hides because he actually shares a lot in common with the nerd or artist or the workaholic tycoon. But since they both are considered safe or in some instances conformance, the thug bad boy has to maintain an appearance of outward rebellion. Wow. Let's break that down just a little bit. I dig that because when I read that gave me a whole new sense of being flamboyant, because as being an LGBT, when you think flame, you think, the flaming queen, this, that, and the other. But when you went and compared that to being braggadocious, that is that heterosexual equivalent to that. You know, because they all hard, they this, they that, and, you know, kind of like, you know, beating their chest a little bit. And it is a flamboyant type of behavior to prove that they hard, to prove that they this. You know, they wearing the skull caps and the sagging pants and this, that, and other, Timberlands, and, you know, smoking Black and Milds or whatever, because that's the image, you know, of this, that, and the other. And it is very flamboyant. And when you see it, you recognize it as thug, as this, is that, and the other. So in that particular type, that seems to be one of the most common types that everybody run to, you know, that thug, bad boy kind of thing. Why is that type considered to be so common?
Personally, from what I've seen, it starts out with, and I'm gonna get a little personal, it starts out with them as teenagers. As I've noticed with women, they want to break away from being daddy's little girl. They want to be somebody's woman. It's not that they really like that kind of guy, it's just he represents what daddy's not. So it's an assertion of womanhood through a certain kind of man. If the guy's safe, oh, dad likes him, oh, Lord, you're going to be just like dad. You know, me personally, when I was younger, got in trouble a couple times. Oh, I was all of a sudden popular. Okay, high school, got into a little incident with some teachers. I took care of them. Now you see this little scrawny little kid with glasses, knocked them, you know, around. Oh, I was popular. Other instances we won't get into. Those would be self-incriminating. But you know, anytime I got in trouble, for some reason my popularity went up, and I never really liked that, because I was the cat that was still doing music, maybe a little poetry. Yeah, when it comes to the bedroom, definitely, you know, I'm got a PG rated. I'm providing the women the love, the service, yeah, giving the business. But at the same time, when it comes to why they want those kind of men, it's not the men themselves. It's the fact that they are the opposite. Now, let it be a woman that comes from a man who's a quote unquote G or a thug. They're gonna get the supposed safe guy, a business guy. But I know a lot of guys, even in business, if you look at hip hop, that's an image. Because the real G's are quiet. Like when I used to go to clubs, I remember a cat telling me, oh, you know, these guys walking around, jumping around, talking about gun toting and all that. The real G is that guy back sipping his drink, watching his money. I said, what you mean watching money? He said he's the one that owns the place. He's the one that, yeah, on paper it says this, but he's the one that's hooked up the money. And so women want to rebel at first as maybe younger women to get out from under daddy and become a woman. But the problem is the way society keeps forcing people to want to be young. You got to be young, don't get old. They stick with that type because they think that's a form of youth. They keep reverting back to run away from daddy, and it's like you pushing 30, 40 years old, who you running from? Yeah.
Let me go here because I want to highlight one of the ones, a type of woman. And I was going to do the fun girl, but I think she speaks for herself.
Yeah, she does.
Okay, she speaks for herself. But there was something in here that was a dynamic that I just absolutely love. And that is, one thing to know is, unlike the other 6 types of women, the fun girl can be slim. But if she is a BBW, a big, beautiful woman, thick and curvy, she is often perceived as having low self-esteem and attempting to compensate for it or overcome it, when usually that's far from the truth. I thought that there was highlighting the whole, pinpoint that. I mean, put the pin there, because I want to also go here to the thug mommies and the ghetto fabulosas.
Yeah.
And something here that you says, when you say, however, every now and then, among the thug mommies and ghetto fabulosas, there are the ratchets, or the wretched chicks, AKA the hood rats, that make every atmosphere, or even the atmosphere in the restaurant, unappetizing, because they are uncouth, rude, and stupid acting. But the thug mommy, ghetto fabulosa, and the ratchet are not one and the same. The thug mommy, ghetto fabulosa is a boss lady versus bosses around.
Okay, so let's see. You want me to start with the first one?
Take it, just take it. Because that's delicious.
With the fun girl, a lot of times, again, I'm going by images. And the fun girl, just like a thug can look like me or you. A lot of times, when people think of fun girl, they think of slender, long hair, sort of maybe a multiracial look, not too dark, not too light, because I get a little bit in that too. But the thing is, I like big women. Okay.
Yeah, it shows.
I like book cover. I like curvaceous women. I mean, not saying that you can't be a size 4 and I won't pay no, mind to you. But if you're pushing maybe 12 to about 20, I'm doing that. I like women like that. So if a woman who is slender and a woman who's shapely are together and they're out having fun, they're being liberated women, they're in control, they are equals with their men in the bedroom. Oh, she got low self-esteem, that's why she's having sex with her. No, she's doing the same thing. Oh, she's overconfident. No, she's confident and you need to get over it.
Right.
When it comes to now going to the Thug Mommy Ghetto Fabulosa. Ghetto Fabulosa basically is, you got a woman that's maybe, of course, African-American, blonde hair, the blue eyeshadow, but she takes care of her kids. She might be in a nursing program. I actually deal with people like that all day, every day. So it's like, you can respect them, okay? And I like women because they have a certain drive. Like I said, they're moving up to something. The ratchets, which is basically wretched, are women who tend to want to draw attention, flamboyant, but it's just, loud, yeah. Always, it's like their voice is always a pitch above what you want to hear. And it's just like, a lot of curse words and where's my bleep to bleep food, like say at a Waffle House. Not that that's fine dining, but I like my people from Waffle House. And I'm just saying that they basically can turn any situation kind of against, but people confuse them. If a woman's a thug mommy Ghetto Fabulosa is like the female version of a true thug. They're gonna handle. All of us got the element in us where we handle stuff. Okay, we done called the cops. We done talked to this person. Okay, this ain't working out. We may have to consider being true Americans. Second Amendment, right to bear arms.
Ooh, right.
The thug mom is gonna do that. She's gonna take care of her kids. She's gonna take care of business. The ratchet is really kind of like immature, the complete opposite. She's trying to get attention. She wants to have somebody, do all this for her, but not actually work with that person. So she's the kind that you don't want to date because all she's gonna do is just pretty much pull from your pocket, waste your time, and the sex may not even be that good.
Okay. Well, you know what? Wow. See, we need to have enough time, but that's all right because I got to stunt. Right now, I want you to let everybody know where they can find the book and to find you for more questions and more answers about why dating doesn't work.
Okay. You can actually Google Michael Hedges, that's MICHAELHEDGES, Why Dating Doesn't Work. You actually see a commercial that will come up. The information's there. Like I said, you can go to Amazon or you can go to Google or you can even go to YouTube. Again, Michael Hedges, Why Dating Doesn't Work. That's pretty much.
All right. Well, you know what? This is too short of a time, but I just wanted to get those particular jewels out there because this is a question that everybody answers, and in this day of social media and carrying on where everything is on the internet, folks are sitting up here doing this, that, and the other. We're sexting, we're texting, we're this. We have lost the art of communication, one of the 3 C's, and yet I don't think many of us really understand that term, the type. We always hear that. Well, what types of guys are you liking? And not necessarily going for the individual approach, like you say in the book. We more so want the type and not the individual. Because if you're looking for love, honey, love is gonna come in that package that you always overlook. Okay, I know my best friend is a witness to it, honey. That was child. Everything that he is married to now, honey, is direct opposite of everything that he was chasing after once upon a time. So, having said all that, I encourage you to get this book, honey. I thank you for coming on and to sharing that. And as I said, as a person who is of LGBT culture, honey, this here, it speaks to everything. It is a wonderful conversation piece. And I'm telling you, honey, it's a quick read. So once you get through it, you'll be having discussion nights and book club meetings over this because this here, you're going to get your crumpets for that, honey. Trust me, you're going to dish tea on this one. So having said all that, Michael, thank you for coming on as one of Atlanta's up and rising art authors. And let's do this thing, honey, because now I want the sequel to be, honey, I found my Mr. Right or Miss Right, honey. Well, my Mr. Right for me. Okay. Thank you so much, honey.
Thank you again.
Introducing to you, honey, this is Mr. Michael Hedges right here on Atlanta's Up and Rising. I'm Big Meach, honey. I'll talk with you again soon. Thanks.